Thank you, Richard. What can I say after this beautiful introduction from Richard? And I'm so happy to see you all here, and that we will have an opportunity to have a conversation about the leadership. This conversation about the leadership is important because we see all of these changes around us and how complex our world has become. And very important thing is, I will show you later how we will structure this, but please, this is the invitation for you to participate in Agile Breakfast, to talk, to share your experience. And we will have two parts. One part will be the talk, and also during the talk, if you see some topic that is maybe unclear, please ask questions or share something, and then at the end we will have 30 minutes of fishbowl conversation. This is where I really hope that we will have a sharing of insights and experiences. So again, welcome. And we thought about having a bit of breakfast challenge, and this was the invitation. So it was the invitation for you to do something also during the breakfast. And before we start, yes, I'm inviting you to share something that not only you have discovered now during the breakfast, but also your thoughts about the leadership. Because I am really certain that you have thought about leadership before and that you know already a lot. So maybe let's take 5 minutes to share something, what leadership means to you.
Frustration.
Thank you. Could you elaborate maybe?
Yeah, okay. No, but everybody understands why I'm saying that, because we are applying less, no, safe, 5 years ago, but I realized that the company was not doing correctly Scrum, so you think, shit, if Scrum is not working and then you are going to scale that, you are going to multiply the problem. And when it's common sense, guys. And when you do that, you try to explain with my manager this to the top manager, and they don't understand. So it's, oh man, oh shit, what kind of frustration can I explain? Is that, and I really want to understand how you can convince, or not explain, because explain is easier, but convince them that the approach that they are taking is not working.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing this picture. And yeah, some points we will touch in the presentation, and I believe that we will have more insights during the conversation. So please bring this during the fishbowl, that we can also talk in the plenum about this. Thank you very much. Some other thoughts?
Yeah, I think leadership or leading people is a kind of balance or a journey between two poles. It's about commanding things, making decisions, and making people doing that what I want, with controlling if it happened. And on the other side, I think this is it's your experience. You are controlled by the management, I think. And the other side is enable people to doing things, a team or a single person, motivate them to doing so, doing criticism in a positive way. So not only controlling, but also leading them to doing and to reach the goal I want him that he reach. And also, yeah, I wrote down communication, so I think it's what he described as a communication problem. So leadership is
Thank you.
most about communication as well.
Thank you for sharing. And maybe we could hear one more thought, and then we can start with the first part.
I can go.
Please.
I think leadership is focusing always on the why in the communication, why it's important we do the job. I think it's holding the line, in a sense of holding the framework for enablement, like the colleague said, and the rest is communication. coordination. It's my opinion. And most of the things I learned from her.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So you see, you already know a lot. There are a lot of questions. It's a kind of journey discovering what leadership means to you. And so what we will start is what we will do today. And we will start with some inputs. So consider this first talk as kind of inputs to leadership, kind of puzzle pieces that you can assemble in your own picture. Okay? So we don't talk about right or wrong. We talk about the things, multiple perspectives on the topics that we talk about. And then in the second part, we will have a conversation about it. Maybe you will see some new inputs, maybe you will hear some new ideas, and we can talk about it in the fishbowl. So this is the structure for today, and my colleague and friend Richard will moderate the fishbowl. So it will be, we will explain before we start the fishbowl how will be the structure and the format of this conversation. So I will just start my time timer. And for the next 20 minutes, I will give you some inputs. And again, if you hear something unclear or asking yourself, "Ooh, what he's talking about," ask, that we can clarify it immediately. So why we should talk more about the leadership? Just look at the world of change. Okay, what is happening around us? VUCA world, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, ambiguity. It's all around us. It's climate change, it's war, it's energy crisis, it's accelerating technology change. And I'm sure many more you could add. Okay? So these are some things that are happening around us. And just think about the complexity that interconnectedness just brings into this. They are all somehow interconnected. The things that are happening are not just isolated events or things. They're somehow interconnected. And this is why it's so complex to deal with them. And I like especially kind of this categorization of the challenges or the problems, because it shows that, of course, there's some, let's say, extremes of the spectrum. We could say that one side we have technical problems. What the problem definition is clear, where the solution is clear, and locus of work, so where the work should be done, is by the authority, expertise, or whatsoever. So we have knowledge to solve this. We have knowledge to understand this. And then we have adaptive problems. These adaptive problems, even the problem definition requires learning, the solution requires learning, and where is the locus of work? So where the work should be done is by the stakeholders. The work is there where the problem is, and usually it is in the social systems, it's in the system. And this is where this categorization maybe can help us in defining some things or talk about this language of problems that we have. So you will also find, we will send you the presentation in the PDF format, and please, this is why we need your email addresses. We don't have all email addresses. So this is where we will also, you will have more resources where you can get more information about it. And now let's talk about the leadership. So what is leadership? Okay, and I would like to start with something about what do I hear people talk when they talk about leadership. Okay, so there are some concepts and aspects of leadership that are connected, but not exactly the leadership. And this is leaders and followers. This is senior management. Sometimes when we talk about the leadership, we think about and talk about the senior management. So it's not exactly the same. There are aspects, they are connected, there's some kind of relationship there. So think about what is the relationship between them. The role it has in change and engaging people. So what is the authority connection, informal and formal authority and organizations? Again, it's not the leadership, but it is connected. It is one aspect of leadership. Cultural conditions, supporting or impeding leadership. So culture, and we will talk a bit about culture in the organizations, because this is the big thing in the organizations that we have everywhere. We have culture, we have cultural issues. And then there are different types of leadership. We also, when we talk about the leadership, we talk about different types of leadership. Systems-inspired leadership, host leadership, intent-based leadership. So there are a lot of leadership types. And again, they're not wrong, they're not right. They have certain approach to leadership. And what is right or what is wrong, it depends on the context, it depends on the organization. Okay? So this is what we talk about when we talk about the leadership. And this is where, so we would invite you to reflect on the relationship between these aspects and the leadership. Okay? Because we talk about the leadership more as a process. Leadership is a process of somebody influencing a group of individuals to achieve a common goal, a mutual purpose. There has to be some kind of mutual purpose. Okay, influencing, not coercing, influencing. Okay, so I especially like this adaptive leadership from Ronald Heifetz. It's a beautiful work, and he wrote with co-authors 3 books about it, and because it emphasizes this. And I find this line a beautiful line. It's the practice of mobilizing people to tackle these tough challenges and thrive. Okay. Mobilizing people. Because adaptive challenges need people solving them. They are complex problems. This is why we need these people solving problems, this locus of works in the stakeholders.
Zvonimir, question.
Yes.
My English is bad. Thrive, would that mean in thrive being successful in tackling these challenges, or what is thrive? Thrive
would mean kind of developing. It would mean kind of successful. Sorry.
Succeeding, like
grow,
yeah.
learn,
grow. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is for me a beautiful picture about the leadership as a process. And then I would also like to give you a kind of just a short view of why the leadership is dangerous. Leadership is dangerous because leading a change, leading people to solve problems, to do something different, is also asking these people to do something different, to lose some parts of their identity. Okay? And this is, you challenge what people hold dear. Okay? And this is why you are also exceeding your authority. At some point of time, people are given authority in the organization through different means. Job description could be one way of giving authority. Managers have their own authority given by the organization, decision making, and so on. Informal authority. There are people that have informal authority. People look up to them. Okay, they know they are sometimes experts, sometimes the people that you go to and ask, okay, how we could solve these problems. But when you lead a change, they are exceeding their authority, they are doing something different. And this is why this is something that people should take care. Okay? And sometimes you also need to talk to other people, you need to find alliances. Okay, you need to talk not only to people that support you, but also to people that are against you and find out why. What is the reason? Yes?
When you say you have to be aware of and you have to take care about it, who is the you? The leader itself, or also the recipients. So in this case, maybe the employees or team leaders or whatever the opposite or the opponents are. Should we also be aware of that?
Yes, yes. I would talk about it.
Okay.
I would talk about it so that the people understand the dynamics, what is happening in the system. Okay, so that the people understand that we honor the things that should be changed. Okay, not everything is bad, and this is also something that I will show you later. Honor the past. Okay, so that the people can take the best things and not change everything or think that they need to change everything. Yes.
Do you mean with leadership often means exceeding the authority you're giving?
Mm-hmm.
Do you mean that you have to overstep as a leader, like do more than you actually are supposed to do? Or do you mean that leading means that it actually costs your authority points or mana or something like that? So you're losing authority if you lead dangerously.
It depends on the context where you are in. It could be, for example, that for example, as a manager, okay, the talk today is about harnessing the power of management and the managers, how they can support. Is that as a manager, you will want to support people finding out different structures that can help them in the work. But you have been given the authority within certain type of structure of organization. So if you then support changing the organization, like maybe different structures, different team formations, then you are basically doing something that maybe was not defined as a part of your job description. Was this?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
I
Yes.
think Marco maybe helps for understanding adaptive means you have really a tough challenge, problem, the environment, anything is changing, so you can't work like you did in the past, and you have to change things, and automatically you have to step out of your comfort zone. I mean, this is how I understand it. Maybe this is how
You
I
said
would
it break.
interpret it. Yeah.
Sometimes you have to break things.
Yeah.
If you want
Sometimes.
to change
Yeah.
things.
Also sometimes. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you. So it has different meaning in different connotations. And this is, again, you will have this information, so I will just touch here 3 points. Change should build on the past, so honor the past. Okay. The next thing is leadership generate loss. Learning is often painful for the system, for the people changing. And significant change through incremental experiments that build up over time. So give time to it. But do these experiments incrementally. Learn what change means for the organization, what works and what does not work. And there are two basic moves. Getting on the balcony and the moving on the dance floor. Getting on the balcony is about distance perspectives. Okay? Make space, observe what is happening. Okay? Try to understand. Look at it from a different perspective. Okay? Just imagine open bar. Just imagine dancing on the dance floor. Looks different than when you're on the balcony and look down. You see different structures. You see different patterns. Okay? So you go between these two moves. You iterate. You experiment on the floor. You do something. And then you observe, okay, does it work? Or do we need to adapt? So, leadership and management. Let's see about the processes. And we are talking here about the leadership and management as a processes. So this would be a definition that Kotter uses for the leadership. Okay? It talks about vision, aligning people. Okay? And management, the processes about securing operation so that the system operates reliably. Okay? You can even talk about the effectiveness, doing right things, and efficiency, doing things right. Yeah. We need both. We need leadership as a process, and we need management as a process. And if we need to talk about it, what do they mean? And now connect them to the challenges. We have technical challenges, and we have adaptive challenges. For the technical challenges, we have the know-how. Okay? and the domain of work is in the management. And the adaptive challenges, we need to learn new ways. And this is where the work is in the domain of leadership. Okay? I know this is a simplification, but it can give us some kind of reference points where we can connect them. Yeah, culture. I think a lot has been said about culture, and I don't want to go into a lot about the definitions, what does it mean, and who said what. I like the work from Edgar H. Schein. And culture is this what we have learned that works in the organization. Okay, so it's about accumulated shared learning, solving problems of external adaptation and internal integration. And external adaptation, this is the mission, these are the goals of the company, these are the means, how do we solve the problems, how do we reach the goals, this is a measurement. And the internal integration is about the language, about the authority, the boundaries and the identity. So you think the culture covers basically everything that we do in the organization. And then we have leadership. And the leadership is a key to learning. And the key to learning, which means that when expectations are not met, what do we do now? What should we try out? And in the early stages of the organizational life, the leadership defines the culture. Because we need to learn what works. We need to accumulate the learning. In the later stages of the organizational evolution or life, the culture defines acceptable leadership. Okay? These are some things that we can have just in the back of our mind when we think about we should change the culture in the organization. Wow. How can we change a culture in the big organization? What does this mean? It's everything. So how do you want to change everything? This is why one thing is that being specific is helpful. What do we want to do? What is the problem? What do we want to change? What is our vision? Okay. Yes, managers as leaders. Yes. Managers as leaders. They should create this environment. Okay? They have this grand opportunity to create the environment where people are invited and encouraged to participate in tackling these tough challenges. Okay, it's an important part of their work. And many do. And many don't. But I believe it's important that we are aware of this. And also talk with the management. And go into this conversation. And it's important to have this guiding vision, values. What do we want to be as the organization? Because the people in the organization can use this to reflect these self-referential ideas, to reflect what does it mean for them in their work. How they can live this, what they can do to live these values, to achieve this vision, to make decisions.
Okay, can I interrupt you?
Yes, of course.
I'm gonna challenge you, okay?
Yes.
And I have the reputation that my feedback not always is super well understood and is a bit provocative.
Thank you.
He knows, okay? You say, we need to talk with managers. Cool, everybody here I think that could go and talk with managers. But we have a problem that I don't see yet.
Mm-hmm.
We have to understand that managers has been building their career based on Taylorism, command and control style. Yeah, it's a fact. So I'm pretty sure everybody here, you have command and control styles where managers try to make transformation, agile, whatever, but they have their management, they are Taylorism style.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say, or when they say, hey, we are going to make a transformation, we are going to implement Agile, sounds super cool because they don't understand that big part of that, as you are saying, is something that they need to change. And change the mindset in managers, again, with 20 years working in a way that they are the bosses. The last decision is made by them. They are the heroes. It's not so easy to say, hey, you know, we need to change the management style, the mindset. Now we are going to be agile, and we need to empower people. And when we say empower people, it's not so. It's not just say it's a cool name. No, no. Empowering is super important topic because it means you manager with 20 years making the decisions. Now you need to teach these young guys who are in a team how to do that.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this up.
I don't see it yet.
It's beautiful what you have said. I think it describes a lot of situations that we have or we are in or in the past. Create relationships. So we could take this in the fishbowl to discuss it a bit longer, but just some short inputs, if it's okay for you. So,
please.
Some things that we could all do is talk with people. They're also people. And they have also other sides that we don't see in the work. So as managers in the organization, they have a certain role in the organization and they have certain authority, and they sometimes do what is expected to them because of the system, because of also of the structures. So let's create relationships with them, which means kind of understand what are the reasons of some things that they are doing. What do they think about some things that needs to be changed? Okay. And in creating this relationship, we can create a trusting base for the conversation. We can meet them where they are now. We cannot change everything immediately in the organization. It is a way, and it is a journey.
Obviously, we can change. Please tell me if I interrupting you, okay?
Yes.
Or if somebody is boring with my point. But yeah, for sure, we are not going to change the mindset in 1 or 2 days, for sure. We know that this is a journey, as you said. But they need some change based on the framework or whatever they are applying today in 1, 2, 3, 4 months.
Exactly.
So how you deal?
Some small steps.
Okay.
Yes, I like it.
Have a fishbowl.
Okay.
We can go deeper. Yes, I like it what you have said. These small steps with them to do together, when we create this trusting relationship, is much easier to create a system where this experimentation will be allowed, where the learning will be allowed on both sides. Also with the language is honor the past, honor also what they have done. Okay, so that they don't feel attacked for what they have done. At that time, it was the best that they know how to do. Let's come together and do some new. But it's a perfect discussions point. Thank you. Is it okay that we continue now and go into the fishbowl? Yes, let's take this into the fishbowl. And I would like to show you just two slides with some things that Edgar H. Schein defined or said it would be helpful for managers or leaders in the organization to do in order to change things. And first are the primary embedding mechanisms, is what leaders pay attention to. What do they pay attention to? What do they measure? Okay. How do they react to critical things or crises that are happening? How do they allocate resources? Deliberate role modeling. How leaders allocate rewards and status. How do they recruit? So these are all things that when they take attention to it and intentionally do things differently, that the people and the system will understand something is happening. They mean this, okay? So it's one thing to say we want to do something, we want to improve something, and then behave like before. Because the people then say, what is now the right thing? Okay? And there are the secondary mechanisms of reinforcement, and this is the design of the structure. What is happening, the policies in the organization, rites and rituals, stories that are told in the organization, formal statements of philosophy, creeds and charters. They're all playing part of it. Okay? Just imagine the organization where everyone feels safe to speak up, name the elephant in the room, share the responsibility for the organization. This organization would be a blast. And I'm sure that there are some organizations, many organizations, where the people really share this responsibility. And they are really good organizations and take this initiative to change. And the last thing, ground conditions for change. When we want to change something in the system, something new has to enter the system. This means, okay, what should change? What is the problem? What is this new thing that should happen in the system? And then there have to be a sense of shared purpose. Why? Why we are doing this? And it's not only about who is bringing what, but they all need to share this purpose. Everyone has to give the input. Everybody has to have the opportunity to give input how to do this. And then, not everything will be changed or decisions will be made like based on these inputs, but it has to be clear what will be done with this input. It's a kind of asking people, give me your feedback, and then, okay, I will do something different that I will not take care. But if I say, please give me feedback, and then, I don't know, in in certain amount of time, giving feedback, okay, thank you very much for your feedback. Based on this, we have changed this, or this is what we could not change, but we are thinking about, then the people will be actively involved in the change. Thank you for listening and participation. Thank you. Now we are coming to the second part, the fishbowl. So please, let's create all together one circle. Okay? I think that you can create a circle. Yep. Let's put it in the middle, and we will put these 5 chairs in the middle.